Hey YouTube, Mark Cobman here, and today I'm going to be talking about the Kershaw Oh So Sweet. Now, get the blade kind of cleaned off. I've been really using this thing lately around the house. Here it is, the Kershaw Oh So Sweet. And this knife, for some reason, this knife does not show Ken Onion's name on it, but I know that this is a Ken Onion design. I mean, there are Rick Hinderer designs, which here is the Kershaw Ember. And I mean, even being this small, you can see that this is a Rick Hinderer design. Let me grab another one of his. And here is the, and I can't remember this one's name, but this is the Kershaw 1558 and Agile. That's what this is, the Kershaw Agile. And this is another Hinderer design. And so you've got Hinderer that has a very, very rememberable design pattern, and then you also have Ken Onion. Now, Ken Onion has discussed his change in design from his more organic lines to a more, I guess, utilitarian look. Recently, he did have a new knife come out with the Field Strip 2 technology for CRKT, and he explained that he believes, and I believe it also, that vintage knives are coming back. And because of that, he put a little more of a vintage twist on the design of that knife. But back when he was doing these more organic lines, you had these curves, you had these very unique designs in the handles, and you had a ergonomic presence in the hand that just really, really feels great. Now, I'm purposely not going like, I mean, I can crimp up my hand into this knife and get all four fingers on there, but really it feels comfortable when you kind of hold it like this. The slicing motion feels good. You can do a really nice push cut, which feels good. You have no jimping here on the spine, but you can still get your thumb up there. Reason I moved the clip from tip up is primarily because I didn't really like it back here. Having this flat back end piece on my palm felt great, and then the curve of this pocket clip actually goes right against my knuckle here, this knuckle, and this feels more, I would say more appropriate in the hand than it being down here. And I don't find it to be more difficult to pull this out of my pocket and have to rotate the knife just to flip it if it was tipped down. I mean, tip up or tip down. I mean, it just really doesn't make a difference to me. I'm not needing to pull my knife out super fast, do a cut, and then whip it back in my shorts. I mean, it's not how I draw my knife. Now, this knife here has been around a long time. I have no idea how long. I've done some research, and I even called Kershaw, and they couldn't really tell me when it was exactly released. I looked online to see if Kershaw had PDFs of their older catalogs, and they don't. That's something somebody could really do on the internet, is upload all their older catalogs and kind of make a collection of all the catalogs, and then you could see when your knife was released. But this one here, I'm going to guess was released in the early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, and it really is a great knife. I mean, well, okay, so I bought this on eBay for $15 with free shipping. Regularly, you can find this for about $30 to $25 or maybe even less. I wouldn't pay more than $15 for it because this is actually my third one. And the reason for that is I didn't really realize how great of a knife it was, and how how fantastic it was in the hand. I just kind of thought of it as a cheap assisted Kershaw, which it is, but it really is a great one. All the design cues on this are done well. They're done to its price bracket. I mean, it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but you definitely have, you definitely have a knife here that looks great and does the job. Now, I'll say this, I've heard people call this fish scales. I've heard people call this like a lava pattern. I don't know what pattern this is. I'm gonna say fish scales, but whatever pattern Ken Onion was going for on this, it feels great in hand, adds a little bit of traction, a little bit of grip, and it's not too aggressive. I will say this though, it is a little aggressive when it comes to the pocket. I mean, on most of my pocket clips, I do raise them up somewhat so they aren't as tight on my pants, and I would probably say this may rip your pants up if you keep pulling it in and out of your pocket. But other than that, I have no complaints about the handle. The blade shape itself, I never really understood how great it was until I bought this third one. And the blade is just perfect. This blade is really great. It really fits all the tasks that I put it through. Let me get it cleaned off a little bit. Jeez, it's horrible. Let's see here. Let me do a quick comparison here with a few things that I have off to the side. And I'm not really going to go through a bunch of things as comparisons, but here is your Kershaw Asteroid. Okay. And then here is your Spyderco Bird Meadowlark. And then here is your Kershaw Agile. Now, I'll say this, the Kershaw Agile, from what I have found, is being discontinued, which is an unfortunate event, and it's unfortunate that Kershaw has decided to discontinue this, but it really kind of fits in that mid-size knife realm. I mean, it's not a huge knife, but it's not a small knife either. So it really does fit into many categories that may need a knife of this size and stature. Now, the one thing I have a complaint with, and I noticed this when at this point with Kershaw, I just expect this, but I had to Loctite all of these screws. I went in and unscrewed all of them. I didn't disassemble this knife, but I unscrewed one side, pulled those screws out, applied Loctite on each one, put them all back, and that is not pretty. I'll say this, for this price on this knife, Kershaw is looking at people that are not really knife guys. They just want an affordable knife and something that will open quick and easy. And if they're not used to having to maintain their knives, especially ones that are like this, having a screw come out or even having the blade start wobbling because the screw is getting loose doesn't really reflect well on the company, at least for them. Now, knife nuts, we know not to expect perfection out of a $15 knife, and you probably would go through and check all of these. But that's just kind of the ugly on this, is that I had to go through and check everything on it. Now, it hasn't come to that point yet, but I may disassemble this and reapply lubricants to it. However, I am not going to be changing out the washers. They are nylon. I don't see the point on a knife this cheap and this complex. Now, yes, I did do that to my Husky work knife, but that was more of a challenge for myself than trying to get the quality up to snuff. well, I was trying to get the quality up to snuff because the blade was wobbling all over the place, but I also wanted to challenge myself. So, but for this one, this is a speed safe knife, and there's a higher likelihood that I am actually going to ruin or mess up the action on this than actually improve it with installing any other washer, at least for this. And for me, at least, I do want to put some better grease in here and lubricants, but for the washers, I don't think that needs to be done. Now, one thing I have noticed with this, and I'm going to try and be very quiet, maybe you'll pick it up, but okay, didn't happen that time. Didn't happen that time. Lately, when I close it, I hear a double click. And it didn't happen on those two occasions, but as of late, I hear a double click as I shut it, and I don't know what that is, but I don't know, but it could be a problem with the knife. I'll find out when I take it apart. But that's another thing with a knife this cheap, is that you can't expect absolute perfection. But for me, this is my third one, and you know what? Finally, I get it. I get why this is a great knife, and I get why people buy this, and why even with more expensive knives, people still even have the Oh So Sweet. I think it really is a knife that needs to be in everybody's collection, especially somebody that may want to get into collecting. So that is my review and my discussion on my third Kershaw Oh So Sweet. And if you guys liked this review, let me know in the comments. And if you have a Kershaw Oh So Sweet, let me know what you have thought of it, and if you've had any of the issues that I've had on mine. Till the next video, remember, have a great one and be kind to one another. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.